Welcome back. This is going to be chapter 2, things for us to discuss or think about. And here we're continuing our examination of the environment that businesses find themselves in. Now first, let's look at the external environment. First, there's the macro environment. Think big. These are the things, the larger scale things that might be happening to a company. What's the price of oil today? How did the Federal Reserve set its rates? Etc. These things tend to trickle down into a company, the macro environment. Then we have our microenvironment. Microenvironment is specific to the company. Think about it. Who are our workers? Where do our supplies come from? Are they arriving on time? Things like that. So there's a big environment, and then there's a small environment. And then there's the competitive environment. And as you proceed through all your courses, you're going to hear a lot about this one, so really take the time to look at it. The competitive environment has 4 components to it. First, you have your new entrants. These are people who are coming into the marketplace. Let's think about who those might be. Let's say you're a small little store up in Needham Square here where I live. Maybe another little store opens up that sells the same thing. Maybe you're a big company like Stop and Shop, and Big Y opens a store nearby you. The important thing with new entrants is to always understand what your market is or who you're selling to. If you're a little store up in Needham Square, your competitor, your new entrant, is now Walmart. Walmart doesn't even see you on the radar. Walmart's up against Target. On the other hand, another little store just like you is your competitor. So the new entrant can be very specific. First, you have to look where you're selling and who you're selling to. In other words, that macro and micro environment and how it's affecting you. And then you go from there to determine what exactly is a new entrant. Your customers. Sounds simple. Can be really complicated though. Not everybody's a customer. Some customers are just, the expression would be tire kickers. People that come in, they're not going to buy anything. Other people are genuine customers. This is where the marketing people come in. They can define your market by age, gender, geography, etc. It's very important to know who your customers are. Even any demographic that you can think of will help define who your customers are. Substitutes and complements. Substitutes sounds pretty easy, and it is. It's something that could be substituted for the product that you're selling. For example, a Chevy truck and a Ford truck. They could be substitutes if they do the same thing. A pen, right? You could buy it from Parker Brothers, or you could buy a Bic. They're substitutes. They could compete one against the other. Now, complement's a little different. One complements the other. Think of it this way. You buy a car. Maybe you want to buy specific gas for it. Okay? Or you buy a pen, and you have to buy certain paper to use it efficiently. Or take this video recorder. You have to buy a certain chip so that you get the best image possible. Products complement each other. A symbiosis. Very often, if you think about it from your own experience, companies try to be symbiotic with another company. Think of all the little gadgets that are being sold with the Apple iPhone or iPad. Not the apps, but the actual products. Carrying cases, protective devices. All those, they complement the product. They're trying to find a symbiosis with the product. And finally, your suppliers, the folks that provide the raw materials that you might use. Okay? These 4 elements create your competitive environment. And there's a constant tension between them. You've got new entrants that may be forcing down your price or taking your suppliers away from you. You've got customers that may be looking for substitutes from a competitor. Or if you're trying to, buying a complementary item. Okay? So these are constantly pushing back and forth against each other, and they're defining the external environment that you work in. Internal environment is a little bit different. This is the inside the company. Now, first thing is the culture of the company. Some companies are flexible. Some are control-oriented. You might hear it comes from the top down. We have to do it a certain way. Or they may use groups trying to develop new ways of doing things. Some may try to maintain internally their structure, and others may be trying to externally position themselves in the market. Okay? There's no one of these that is absolute, and normally it's a combination of the four that's being used. Your organizational culture is attitude and behavior. Now these kind of mush together in the book, but this attitude is how people actually act or intend to act, and the behavior in my world is how they actually act. Let's think about this for a second. Attitude. An attitude might be, for example, that take Walmart. Okay? Our attitude is always we want to have a happy store and we want to have the best price possible. The behavior, not all stores are the best. Sometimes a store has to be cleaned up a little bit, or the greeter at the front may be grumpy that day. So the attitude, what they're trying to do and what they actually do in behavior, they may not be congruent. So you have to look at that and consider that as an internal environment of the company. Okay? And it's something that goes to the forming of the company and its ability to function in the environment that it is selected. See you soon with the next chapter. That'll be chapter 3.